Hey folks, it's Rich here. What have I got in my hands? Ooh, what is this? Duncan designed pickups. Pretty colour. Rosewood fretboard. One string tree. Made in India. Glossy neck. Back of the body. Squier on the little back plate. Yes. So I've just bought it, picked it up, and the bridge was, just take that for a sec, was set floating, which I don't like. I've taken the back off. It has got the smallest block you've ever seen in your life. It's teeny tiny, it's like one of a bullet. And only 2 springs, which I've tightened right up to the max. But even the tension of the strings that I've just put on it are pulling it up a little bit. It needs another spring, really, or some more manly springs in there. So that's a bit of a pain. So that's the first little thing. Second little thing, I'm not going to say these frets are sharp, but if we did the Phil McKnight, get a stocking on your hand and went like that, it would snag a tiny bit. But not a big deal. The next got some nice figuring to the wood under there. And whilst it is glossy, it's not super tacky. You know, it doesn't feel horrible. I like the fact that the gloss goes all the way up to the back of the headstock, which makes it look nice, and on the front. So it's sort of like a classic vibe in that respect, although this maple is a lot lighter and obviously hasn't got all the yellowy stuff on there. Indian cedar alleged for the body material, and by the way, it's full thickness. It is a full 44mm thick body. So there's that. The neck pocket is pretty good. No complaints there. So that's that. The Duncan design pickups. Now, I had them on my Squier Deluxe, didn't I? And I wasn't that keen on them. But I think these sound okay. I don't know. Now, do the strings go over the pole pieces? They most certainly do not. That's one thing. That's another thing, rather. But the biggest immediate issue, really. Now, you've got to remember, I'm unlike Carsten, Mr. Game Dane, who does his 70-point check and he's a proper, you know, he could charge for his services. Not me. I polished the frets, which I've done. They're a little bit worn, incidentally. Not dreadfully, but a little bit. And I've given the fretboard a bit of an oil and I've put some new strings on it. So that's as far as I go. A, that's my skill set. B, I haven't got the patience or interest, really. I just want to play it and I want it to work. That's it. However, this one doesn't really fit that play it and want it to work criteria at the moment. And I think it might have to go to a guitar tech. In fact, it's going to have to go to a guitar tech to get it fixed because I can't do it. So, now I've played with the neck relief. The truss rod nut is really quite loose, actually. But yes, I've played with the neck relief and the action is higher than I would. You can't see all that well here in this light, I'm afraid. I should have done this in the daytime. Well, I couldn't have done it because I picked it up when it was dark. But yes, the action is way higher than I'd want it to be. And let's turn that up on. Oop. Fret buzz. The saddles themselves are already reasonably high. Obviously I can make them a bit higher, but it's not as if they're low on here. But there's another little anomaly. So I'll just let a string ring out. People, but it's out of tune. So it keeps pulling itself against the trem bridge, and there are new strings. But anyway, that rings okay. G string. Do. Can you hear that? Turn it up a bit. so here's a ringing D string. La la la. Here's G string. Boo. Do. B string. Ringing. High string. Do. Boo. G string really bad. Boo. 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 Weird. I don't know what that is. Someone will know, I'm sure. Rings. Rings-ish. Out of tune. But burp. 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 Yeah. So what's that all about? Don't know. Really don't know. But the neck is 43mm and it is a modern kind of C. It feels like, what does it feel like? It feels quite a lot like the profile on the current bullets, really, which is just nice. And so this level of gloss isn't sticky. I don't know what they've actually lacquered it with, but it's, say the neck itself still looks nice and light. It hasn't gone that sort of orangey colour on the classic vibes, but it feels, it's coated, but it's really smooth. It's very nice. So yeah, I approve of that. Oh, I'm so out of tune. Fucking, excuse language, I'm sick of tuning this. I've stretched the strings. What's that button doing there? Jeez, man. So it's sort of like a classic vibe, I suppose, with the gloss. It's probably more like a vintage modified, isn't it? Because hasn't got the old style tuners, it's got the modern tuners. It's got Duncan design pickups, which you had on, or you get on a vintage modified, or you did on the old ones anyway. So maybe it's a tune actually. So yeah, maybe this was made in India for a while before they went over to China and Indonesia. Don't know. There's not a huge amount on the internet web. It's horrible, isn't it, that? Absolutely awful. Anyway, we just have for what it's worth, which is not a lot right now, we'll have a few. It's just so... The tone knob works, which we approve of. So this is on number 10, tone. About 7. About 3 or 4. And then off. So it does graduate properly, which I think is great. G-strings. What are you doing, G-string? Today. And the second tone knob down here, that does just the middle. So you've got neck and just middle, which also works. Spanky, isn't it, on that? This is on the clean channel, by the way, but the volume's about half on the guitar. Let's turn the volume down a bit on the amp because the neighbours, bless them, actually stuff them. No, not really. Now you can hear underneath that fret buzz and that terrible setup that I think will be a nice sound. straight to the bridge. So it's on the gain channel, not overdrive. A dead G string. Don't think it deals with overdrive properly. Shush now. A bit loud. A bit loud. I've got that tune again. I say got that tune again, that implies it was in tune to start with, which of course it never really was. Turn back up. Anyway, so I don't know if anyone's ever going to come across one of these. I certainly haven't. It's the first time I've seen one. But you get that Sienna Sunburst, which they've recently brought back out on the Squier Affinity, very similar to this. It looks super pretty. I love the full thickness body. I know people get obsessed about it. I'm not, but it is nice. The figuring on the neck, almost sort of little flamey bits going on. It's really nice. Who doesn't love rosewood? It's got pearloid style dot inlays instead of just standard plastic ones, and that amount of gloss is perfect. So it's going to cost me £100 to get a tech to sort it out, but do you know what? That's fine. I paid 130 for this. 130, barely a mark on it. It just needs a proper setup and some love. So yes, so if I do that, that's £100, but at that point that will cost me 230. What else could I have got for 230? Well, if you look on eBay, you might find something that is already set up and is good for value, but generally 230 quid. I don't know. I think for something that will feel and play like a Strat, and I've got a feeling that we're going to be friends for a while. Anyway, thank you for watching. This has been a long video, hasn't it? 13 minutes. Jeez, if you're still here, good for you. And catch you soon.